Often, if my mother found us doing something that we should not have been doing, she would say, "If Mikey jumped off the bridge, would you do it too?" And that would just hit me if that would I be the one to do everything someone else does? Or would I think for myself? Individuality. And I wanted to think for myself. And she would often include God gives us common sense. Now, I'm not here to dispute what the higher power is. For me, it's all about what do you believe in? Do you believe in good or do you believe in evil? Because I never liked labels in the first place, but it's just out of habit that I call this higher spirit God. It's out of how what I heard as a child, what I've read in the Bible. And so, what does it mean to have common sense? How do we get common sense? The Bible does have in it that God wrote his laws in our minds. He put them in our minds and he wrote them in our hearts. That the same laws that guide the universe live within us. And I believe it's when we disconnect with the truth that is in us, when we are not aligned with the laws of the universe and our actions and our thoughts, that's when we experience the consequences. That's when we have hatred, prejudice, racism, crimes, abuse, domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault. Because for many of those, one word comes to mind, which is love. I believe that our Creator created us in love, and we are here to express love. We are physical manifestations, representations of the truth of love. And it's through our mediums, our the ability to write, the gift of writing, the gift of dancing, speaking, singing, whatever it may be, that we are to express this truth. God, we know often what to do, but we allow our fears of men, of pleasing people, wives, husbands, children, co-workers, employers. We let our fears deter us, continually disconnecting us further and further away from the truth that resides in us. And therefore, we do not take ownership of our truths. When I say own our truths, I'm talking about taking ownership of the laws that are within us. And that's what I have found when my mother would say, God gives us common sense. Everything we need to know resides in us. It is the human being that chooses whether to align, to follow truths, that we are a representation of love, that God created us in his image, that our life has meaning and purpose, that we are here to have hope in our future, that we do not have a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That when we forget that we have diagnosis, we have anxiety, depression, and soon we identify with those man made names, anxiety, depression, labels, and that's who we continually reinforce every day instead of reinforcing that we are greater than our experiences. If the same spirit that created this earth and the universe and beyond resides in us. We are manufactured from this presence, from this spirit. Then we have everything we need to transcend experiences. And I know I've heard the saying that, common sense is not so common. And it's when we disconnect with the truth that is in us that we are not practicing common sense of knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Often it's rush, rush, got to do this, got to do that. What will they say about me? How will they feel about me? That we are not, we lose the point, if you will. The point is not to please others. The point is having the conviction to our truth that if something does not reside in us, if people are doing things that we don't want to do, it could be, consumption of excessive alcohol or drugs, smoking, cursing, using slander, and using racist words. If it doesn't feel right, there's a reason. And then when we have that feeling, we need to seek it out. Because the more we seek out the truth, the more truth seeks us. The way we break the generational cycle of love is by one thought at a time, by one thought in the direction of, I am not my experiences. I am not the hatred and violence that is happening in the world. I do not have to do what other people do. That I can continually do things that resonate with me and who I choose to be. And that's character. That I remember walking through our living room when I was a young girl in our first home. And the thought came to me that life is about character, reinforcing the truths that are already in me, taking ownership as I've come full circle, taking ownership of those truths. That is not just God's truth. It's not, it's my truth. It's who I am as a spirit in bodily form. It's who you are as a spirit in bodily form. Common sense is taking ownership of your creation, ownership of the truths that are within you. Because whatever we take ownership of, love or hate, we continue to infect generations with it. And I'd rather have love, reinforcing love instead of hate. Too many lives have been lost with suicide, homicide, gun violence. The month of May is dedicated to mental health awareness. And what I'd like to say is spiritual awareness of realizing who we are, that we are more than a diagnosis, that we don't have to be what the statistics say. We don't have to take ownership in our diagnosis. We don't have to be or do everything that Mikey does. And Mikey are those labels. And so I believe, yes, God gives us common sense. And that common sense that is in you, nothing or no one can take it away. And remember, whatever it is that you seek, you will find. And I encourage you, no matter how you were raised, what environment you come from, what social training you've had, what projection of pain that you've had, your experiences with pain, anxiety, nightmares, fear, if you will, anger, frustration, that you realize that you're bigger than that. And I don't mean bigger as in head bigger, but I mean spiritually bigger than that. That I believe they're all distractions to who you are, what your life's meaning, your purpose. That yes, research has its place, but refuse to be a label. Refuse to be defined by the world's definition because you are not of this world. You are a spirit and bodily form. And you deserve a lot better than that. And so I just wanted to share another one of my mother's life principles. My name is Tamika Chambers. I am a trained nurse with a BSN and an MSN and over 20 years in the healthcare industry. And I wanted to understand more about this projection of pain and why people do what they do, why do they hurt others and then do not accept their truths. And I think it's because we feel like we're not deserving of accepting our truths. But when we realize the truths that are within us will help free us from the projection of pain, from these labels. We're not alcoholics. We're not anything else that the world tries to define us with, because we cannot be defined. So my hope for you is that you realize that God gives you common sense, that you have it within you, and that you choose who you want to be, the mindset you want to have, the joy, the freedom, the hope is there for you. It's one choice away. This is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. May you create a generational love cycle, and it always starts from within and then without.